Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Old Gray Bricks. I am FLEEBNORK. I'm hosting tonight, guest hosting, for Fazoom. He's on vacation on a beach on Jekyll Island, eating some shrimp, which is where all of us would rather be this evening. But tonight I've got Troubles Brewing. I've got Dana, Magnus. We've got Pink Wheels and Teal Wheels, Meredith and Natalie. We've got Rich Shamus, who is there. He is there. He was hiding from us. Adam has joined us this evening, and Mountie Love from the Great White North, our good friend Gil, has joined us. So let's see. I'm going to go directly to the Great White North. What is going on in your world this evening?
Not much. Thanks for.
Were you eating a maple leaf or something? Or
always. That's all that I do. Yeah, not too much. Thanks for stepping in for Chris's tiny little shoes. I assume they're small shoes anyway. You know, small shoes, small shorts. So, yeah, not too much. I did do one thing this week. I actually finally did a Lego photography thing.
The screen share.
I'm just digging it up here. So just
I put you on the spot too early.
Yeah, I was gonna say you surprised him, didn't you?
Did.
Prepared for class, gosh darn it.
While you're doing that, I will say hello to Brom. Hi, Brom. I'd rather be with you. And we have Rich saying hi to us, even though he's in the show. But, you know, hi. If you are still hunting and fishing, I'll hop over and
sure, please do.
Someone else what they're doing. Magnus, what's going on with you, buddy?
I'm okay. It's almost the end of the week. I don't know that I had any major new Lego building things in the past week or so. I got a brick link order with this thing, which turned out to be less expensive than I.
The big hole.
That's a big.
Well, I only got one of them, but I want to get another and maybe even 3 more. So I think if you have like at least 2 of these, or maybe even 4 of these, you can start having fun with like big things.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
I've been messing around with ideas for wargaming. I forget if I mentioned that earlier, but there are these, in addition to the new little third-party ones that I've seen have shown up. They also have, these are the Lego ones, and I think it'd be fun to have fun with that at some point. So that's where I'm at.
All right, very cool. How about, we haven't seen Adam in a bit. What's going on with you, buddy?
Hey guys. Well, it's been a busy last couple weeks. I haven't been around much, but it's good to be here. So I do have something to show that I have been working on with a friend of mine that's going to be releasing soon as a buildable instructions coming soon. So I wanted to show that off.
Cool.
It's kind of heavy.
Wow.
Very cool.
Oh, that's cool.
I hear Dana salivating, which is what was the goal.
Oh, I am salivating.
So I can take no credit for this. So I've been working with a friend of mine his name is Christopher Gerhardt, who has been developed this plugin for a software called Blender that develops 3D models, turns them into perfect Lego built shapes. And so this was one of the models that he's going to be releasing on his website called Bricker Builds later this month. So I helped him build this one. And then we also have a half-size one.
Ah!
So this is, aren't these cool though? So this is, this one's a little bit bigger than the official ones that Lego releases, but
I was gonna say they're way better looking than the ones that Lego releases.
They are way better looking.
yeah. So I've got a few more that I'm gonna just hold on to, but I want to show off one of these. But these are like, I've had such a good time like building these because I've never done these big models, but
Yeah.
the instructions are really easy to follow, and they're structurally sound. So this thing is like
But it doesn't
sturdy.
look-
It's very sturdy.
But it doesn't look too heavy.
No, it's
Oh, sorry about that.
it feels weighty in your hands, but it's pretty light. I would say it's hollow inside.
Okay.
So, but yeah, he did the detailing and the painted look on the front. So yeah, excited to share more of that soon. That's kind of a teaser for what we've been working on. So I'm helping him kind of promote this stuff, and there will be eventually much more models and stuff available on his website. But you can go to his website, brickerbuilds.com, and we have like a sign up where you can be notified when these instructions go up on the website. So yeah, I figured this would be a cool thing to show off.
So I have to ask you, Adam, do you know why that helmet has orange markings on it?
I do. It's the 332nd helmet from season 7 of the Clone Wars.
And why is it orange?
Because of Ahsoka.
Because it's so.
Okay, now we're
Yes.
supposed to be a trooper.
Put your glass. Put your glasses on. I had to give you a nerd quiz there for a second.
Yeah. Hey, you checked me, and I'm happy to show up for it. So, you know.
That's Ryan, who would have had no clue.
What is the explanation for those of us less first? Why is it orange?
So in the Clone Wars, they introduced a character called Ahsoka Tano, who was Anakin Skywalker's Padawan, and she is I can't remember her race off the top of my head because I'm feeling like I'm pressured. But she's orange painted, and she has Lexilus that come down. And so, in honor of her returning back to the New Republic Army right before the Siege of Mandalore,
Oh, okay.
members from the 501st changed their helmet color to be Ahsoka troopers, basically. And so,
There's another one.
so there's a clean up.
Plain without the paint.
Tell me he's got a regular TK in there too.
We're working on it. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
this is the without the Ahsoka version. So
I know lots of people here in Atlanta that will be clamoring to build those. So that's so excited for this.
yeah, we're excited too. So that'll be I'll share more info with you too, because I know you're going to be probably building one of these when we get the instructions out.
I will help promote it as much as I can.
Cool.
Very cool. That sounds awesome.
Hey, Nick.
Let's welcome Nick's arm. What's going on, Nick's arm?
That's the best part. I have nothing that I've been working on except I picked up my box of lug bulk, and I'm excited to share with you what I've gotten, mostly because I have no idea. I do not remember what I ordered.
That's
All
typical.
right, let's do it. Let's see it.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Lay it on us.
Fired up.
All right, I am opening a box. There's a flat.
Wait a minute.
Ooh.
You said you had nothing to share, but you do. It's called the
It's
world's smallest man bun.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm glad.
It's a starter man bun.
Is that a quarantine thing, or is that
Is that a what?
a quarantine thing? Is your hair? I don't think I've seen your hair. I'm not.
It's I've not gotten a real haircut. My wife and daughter have taken to the haircutting duties, and they're excellent at it. And this is, you haven't seen this, but I had a mustache throughout most of April and May, and it was glorious. But I lost the bet with my daughter, and she got to cut it off.
Was it 70s porn stash?
It was better.
Better.
It was better. It was a mountain man. Why are you on my property mustache?
Nice.
The first
Although, Nick, I actually have to say that every week I have to tamp down my anger that you and I were within about maybe 5 years of age, but our hair age is about 45 years apart.
well, it's different lifestyles.
True.
I didn't choose this life. It chose me. A bag of these was number one.
Oh, yes.
No.
I have the rubber duckies.
It looks like 25 of them. How am I going to get this?
Yeah, you're good.
Is that well lit enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
Is this the duck from the CMF?
Yeah, from the shower guy.
Shower guy, yep.
I assume so. Like I have no idea. I swear to you, this all happened when the world was a good place.
Oh no, you're right on there because I'm getting my lug bulk this weekend, so I kind of forget what I did.
Natalie chimed in to say in the CMF it's green ducky, not a yellow
Oh,
ducky.
that's right.
Oh.
So this is it? I don't know. Friends. I don't know.
You keep showing stuff, and I'll look it up.
The resident Friends expert here says no, it's not
It's-
Friends.
It's the duck is from the carnival set, the recent carnival set.
Okay,
Ah,
that's number 2, and it
Oh,
looks
yeah,
like
little accessories and greebly things.
those
Those
are great.
are from the Avengers Tower. At least those are in a bunch of sets.
Yes,
But,
it's the 2020 Marvel sets. Let's just say that.
right.
Yeah.
Welcome to the chat, Dude Jude. Fazoom is not here tonight. I am guest hosting, and we're currently watching what Nick has got in his lug bulk order.
this last week.
I could do that too. I got mine the other day.
I need to pick up mine if we're talking about that sort of thing.
Then I got. Get rid of these guys. Ice cream swirlies.
The white ice cream swirlies.
White ice cream swirlies.
If you use the chocolate ones.
Very important what color you're considering there.
Right. It signifies something different. Is that does nothing. All right.
Need professional lighting.
I really do.
We know a guy.
Do I know him?
Maybe.
It's possible.
And how much?
No, we're not going there.
Those look to be.
Are those clear heads?
Those are clear helmets that go over heads, I think.
Mysterio helmets?
Stereo helmets.
Yep.
Do I have it? Do I have?
Keep us riveted here.
Okay, here we go. The test
All right.
fit. Yeah.
They fit on a head.
They're bubble heads. You know
Bubble
what?
heads.
I wish I had thought about it looking for those. Those are great.
Now, part of me doing this is I don't my build notebook is all over the place, but it did not account for new stuff. So if you think of something cool with quantity 25 mini helmets, let me know.
I'm thinking either like a retro space theme or an underwater theme.
Yeah, I gotta say the Sandy helmets are better for the retro space. 'Cause
Or
they do
Micro Underwater City.
Ooh, micro underwater city with domes. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I like that.
Quantity 25 minifigure trophy gold. That really shows up.
Time to figure. That's all right.
Let him hold it.
There you go.
I want to thank the Academy.
Your age 4 soccer trophies. Everyone gets one.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Yep.
Participation.
Welcome to the new IM.
I like that. As a soccer coach, I like when everybody gets a medal. For real. Because it doesn't matter. Have fun. Quantity 800. Why would I get 800 of these? 1x1 dots with holes in them.
In brown.
In brown.
Well, why wouldn't you get 800?
Like, but why? I don't know. Why
Did you
800?
get those so you could stick little plant bits in it?
Yeah, they're good for trees.
I was gonna say, yeah, plants would work.
Yeah.
That would make sense that you would.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
Maybe there's something in here that explains it. I don't.
Like
Gosh,
a little tiny plant thing. What's that thing called?
maybe tiny planting. Those aren't interesting. Quantity 50 or 100 for those dudes.
Oh, those are great. I love those. Did you get the counterpart with the clip pan?
I think I have all those from a previous edition somewhere in this room.
Yeah, no, those are my favorite go-to parts now lately.
What do you use them for?
For connections for roll bars, or either like a mech or a vehicle, or they also make great fingers for mechs and or some sort of like ball and joint type figure.
Okay, I was thinking of like roll cage type things.
Oh, well, that was the first thing I said. Yeah, it was roll cage.
All
They
right.
do well for like a Jeep roll cage for sure.
Yeah, those little things are great for all sorts of things. I mean, roll cages or mecha parts or laser guns or greebles or.
Yeah, I mean they're very versatile.
Oh yeah.
Movable weapons mounts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll go close to the hands. I think we have an answer to the holes because there are 400 of these guys.
Oh,
There you go.
There
what
you
is
go.
that?
There you go.
That makes a lot of sense.
A
Ooh,
pattern emerges.
ooh. 25 of these in orange.
Now, do you have the rest of the to make that the whole figure?
Man, I hope so.
I would say it's gonna be really disappointing if all
Man, this could be the best day ever or the worst day ever.
First
no,
unboxing ever.
yeah.
there's no in between.
I will tease that next week I will have 100 of those. Actually, 110.
Ooh.
I went all out on the Orange Spaceman.
I heard from Adrian Drake, and I think he said he ordered 500 or something.
Wait a second. Is that the old style helmet or the new style?
It's Adrian. He doesn't do anything in small quantities.
No.
This
It's
is
the new orange spaceman.
Yeah, so Magnus, that's coming out in a DK book as an exclusive figure, but all the parts to build him showed up in Lug Bulk this year.
And that's looks like an old style helmet.
It's an old style helmet, but
with a thicker bar.
so like when they did the white and yellow helmet in the Lego Movie 2, it's the same helmet, but just in orange.
Right.
So it looks like an old school helmet, though.
Helmet retro style is what you could call it.
That's a good word. I like that.
It's the same helmet that goes on. Where are you? Yeah, I can't find him.
You got that picture ready, Mr. Canadian Mountie?
Yeah.
It's the same helmet that goes on these guys, man.
Oh, he's back. Sorry. He's back.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So while they're not exactly classic helmets, they're as close as you can get.
That's right.
All right.
Sure.
We are doing a live unboxing with the Dirty Nixter. So
Ooh. Hi, Small Paw.
some pizzas.
Oh, I thought it was pizza.
No, I wish it was pizza too.
Yeah, I wish it was pizza.
Next up is not space related. It's the opposite. Apparently, I got a bunch of train wheels.
But they could be space greebles, right?
Guys, why did I do this?
Unless you've got bogeys to go with them, who knows?
I'm at a loss. I need to check the security controls on my machine.
I don't know. This is that part right there is not so exciting.
I'm not happy.
While Nick is pulling up other parts, while Rick was correct as far as the rubber duckies being in the People Park fun fair, it was also in the Chinese New Year set, the Christmas X-Wing, believe it or not, Rapunzel's Tower, and for Teal Wheels, yes, it is also in two Friends sets, a Friends Advent Calendar, which is actually the 2020, so that's not really technically out yet. And it was also in Andrea's Summer Heart Box.
We don't have Andrea's.
So there's why Teal Wheels don't know. So, and I now feel that I know more about this rubber duck than I needed to know before. Nick, you're leaving us hanging, dude. Should we come back to you?
While he's digging, how about we go back to Gil and he shows us his photography.
I got it.
You got it.
Okay, so
Bring it up there.
and I forgot that I actually had a prop. So this old build,
The screen
yeah.
just went funky
I was
on me.
excited when I saw the picture because that thing looked freaking cool.
There we go.
Whoa.
so this is like a tug, and for you viewers at home who recognize it, say, "Hey, loser, isn't that diver set from about 8 years ago?" And you'd be right. So it's basically that mid-sized sub, and when I saw it with these big sort of things on the bottom, that would make a cool sort of like space tug for like shipyards and stuff. So anyway, that's been sitting on my shelf, and I wanted to try some photography of something that captures like an outdoor or a outer space scene, whatever. So what I came up with was,
Do you need a drum roll?
yes, please. Share, you fool, share.
Share it.
That's all the drum roll you're getting.
All right, here we go. We're sharing now.
Where is it? Oh, it's this one. Okay, here we are. There it is. Okay.
Whoa.
So yeah,
Very cool.
so that's what's produced out of that. So yeah, and the big thing is that actually,
Nice.
well, big for me is that this is the first sort of like this is the first Lego photo shoot I've done since I got in LED panel as a backdrop. So great in a lot of ways. Obviously, you can make a backdrop of whatever you like, but because it also emits light, it does a lot of cool things, especially for outer space stuff, because you can have planets actually reflecting and refracting light and everything. So yeah, so that's what's
And you had an
gone.
LED there on the guy welding. Is that like a little red LED there shining light on him?
What this is actually, this is like a composite of about 7 different images, and yeah, there's a LED laser pointer on the welder to get that reflection going on and that hot spot in there. But then each one of the lights is actually a separate LED pointer in a light blue. And basically, if you shine those pointers into any sort of any transparent clear round or anything like that, the light just bounces around in those things and it just like explodes. So they're really great for photography. Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
this is basically 7 different images because, you know, I don't have like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 hands to hold the pointers in position and that. So basically I take all the shots, each one at a time, lighting up the different areas. I stack them in Photoshop, and then I selectively, I align them and then selectively remove layers to let them shine through. So yeah.
Very cool.
Very
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you. So
Nice
for
work.
anyone closer look, I may just I'll post the Flickr link in the public chat, and maybe Mark can promote it to the public chat.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, go ahead and do that, and I will drop that link in the chat for you.
Pop quiz, Mark. Do you know how to do that?
So I think, yeah, I just the layout is a little different when you're in the hosting mode. It's a little different, and because Chris has the pro version of StreamYard, and I don't have all of these features, so there's more stuff.
Which is why I'm glad he asked you to host and not me.
I'm navigating through more stuff. I think we lost Nick, though. I don't know if he lost his internet or what happened. But why don't we see what our Wheels ladies are doing this evening? Hello, Wheels ladies. What's going on over there?
We're still waiting on 3 sales.
Oh, the sales. Yeah. Got to finish the ship. Very cool.
Yeah, the ship's all done. We're just waiting. They sent me 2 out of 3 sales, so we're waiting on Her Majesty's post service to bring me the last one.
Ah, very good. Okay.
So that's about it. We're back in friends mode. What else are we doing? Oh, I'm trying to build a spaceship out of this.
Ah,
Nice.
Oh, cool.
So how many of those do you have? So how many?
I have just I have 4 halves.
4 halves, so you got 2 engines?
Pods.
Or 2 pod engines kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, I think they're cool. I haven't seen
tools?
So Natalie wanted me to take them off her friend's set, so I had a brick like them. Friend set, same difference. You wouldn't let me take them, would you? No, so I had a brick.
That was an emphatic I
mean, I think they're just really interesting. I mean, because they have the hinge and then they have studs on the inside to build off of.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
So it's like translucent. So you could like really like greebly some cool looking engine that's inside.
Yeah.
How many colors do those come in?
They come in blue, like a translucent light blue like this, and they come in translucent purple, like a dark purple bluish color, and then they also come in pink.
Do you know that if you actually pumped a pretty bright flashlight behind them and going forward, it would produce a pretty cool effect.
I bet it would.
Yeah.
Welcome, Stever, to the
This
chat.
is the next mock because I'm literally just waiting around on, as I said, Her Majesty's Post Office to send me the last sale. So that's about it. We've been a slow week for us.
All righty, let's hop over to Rye.
Hello.
What's happening?
How do you hoard Nerfs?
Oh.
Well, you want to see? Hang on.
You asked for it.
Hang on. I gotta go mobile.
Hold on to your
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna regret this.
Show us all your nerfs.
Great. That's
Wow.
that's
I thought
one.
Star Wars
That's
Whoa!
Wow.
That's most of the rest of it. I've got some others and some totes that are. These are all. Those are all.
That is literally a rack of Nerf.
Oh,
An
somehow he
armory.
muted himself.
Look,
What?
it's a whole rack of Nerfs.
Yeah.
So when the apocalypse hits, we're coming to your house, right?
Yeah, basically. Somehow I muted myself during that. My bad.
You're a Nerf.
But yeah, that's the Nerf collection I was talking about last week.
So, are you one of the people?
Too many plastic copies. Sorry, say again.
Right, are you one of the people who mods your Nerf guns to shoot further and things like that?
Not yet, but I have lots of things bookmarked to do eventually someday whenever I save up enough pennies for springs and brass tubes and things like that. Some of the hardcore things that
I've
some
done
of the
that
fans have
myself
done
to
over the
one
years.
Nerf gun, one of Paul's, his, what's it called? The Alpha Hawk. Is that right, Ryan? It's like an orange rifle looking thing, the Alpha Hawk.
If it's orange from the last couple of years and it's got a new type of dart in it, yeah, that's from the Alpha Strike series.
But I bought a stronger spring for it to put in it, and because the one that comes with it is pretty weak sauce. So.
Well,
Yeah, they in general, what Nerf provides hasn't really gotten any stronger over the years. They keep increasing their distance claims on their boxes without actually backing them up and without any of the performance, backing up those claims. Sorry, my words are failing me at the end of this week. So there's this whole problem in the Nerf. Besides the Lego community having all our issues, the Nerf world is its own cup of tea, where they also have things that they don't like about the mothership, and they'll try out other brands, and other brands come and go, and everyone comes back to Nerf because in the end they've got a little bit more quality than some of the other off brands. But there's still some things that you would love for them to do better, just to give a little bit more. Get a little bit more love from the fan community.
I mean, it's Nerf or nothing, right?
Yep.
So, can you tell us what's happening at your job?
A lot. It's been really busy. I don't have anything particularly secret to share. Just that things are moving at an accelerated pace, and there's a lot going on, and I have some team members of mine who used to work with me in Florida who just showed up this week to help us start installing Lego models. So you may start seeing more and more things on social media really soon.
Great, that sounds cool. You don't happen to have like a little screen share you can show us of the that dragon tail you posted the other day?
Sure.
Or even on your phone, just hold it up if you can. Just something real quick if you can. It's going to be a difficult.
It won't be difficult. Just give me one moment. I've taken a lot of pictures since then. This is very thrilling stuff we're doing here on YouTube today.
Hey, there it is. All right.
That's not me, just so we're super clear.
Dude, that's nice.
But big Lego dragon tail. That's something awesome.
Yeah, that's just the tail. So just picture the body being a lot bigger than that.
Wow.
Very cool. Alrighty. Maybe we will hop over and ask Mr. Rich, what's going on in your Lego world of moving? I see a box.
Yes, that's one of 2 bug bulk boxes. My wife and I belong to 2 local clubs, so.
But you're supposed to be packing Lego, not unpacking Lego.
I just pulled it out to look at, and then put it back in the box, and it's going to go into storage. We just hadn't made it there because this morning we went up to the Gettysburg area to look at a place, and it's less than stellar. So now we really know what we don't want at whatever price point. So before I get to the box, I'm on my penultimate day of being employed, even though I'm on personal time off today and tomorrow. After that, I no longer am employed. So I'm going to be hitting that unemployment stuff. But this is the Wamalug box that my wife put in for. Got some nice plant bits. Wanted to get some fall plant bits.
Oh, yeah.
We weren't the only lug that did plant bits.
Yep, plant bits.
Got some fall colors there. Very nice.
Yeah, yep. I got me some ingots in tan and white.
Nice.
Yep.
Another great
I
piece.
got the chrome, the metallic 1x1 tiles. Actually, I could put that straight into something right now. That's not packed up yet. I've got white, black, and gray 1x1 brick modified with studs on 2 sides. The corner ones.
Ah, the corner ones. Those are good.
Yeah.
Is this in a small parts room? Because I'm trying to book it when you move on Airbnb.
Not yet. Not yet. Someday you'll be able to rent my small parts room just to come and look. It'll be behind plexiglass. I've got plant tops, 3 leaf. All the Harry Potter thingamajiggy.
The mandrakes.
The mandrakes, yes.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of black top hats.
Those are actually on the pick a brick wall right now, or the build a minifigure wall.
Well, I haven't visited a Lego store in a while, so I don't know. I've got profile bricks, 1x4.
Again, something that our lugs all do.
Tan or building yellow, 1x2. Dark red, profile bricks, 1x2. Profile bricks, medium nugget, 1x2. So building.
Wow.
And more base plates because everybody needs base plates.
Absolutely. Did you only get green and white?
In this one.
In that one, that's right.
And this one, you know, don't be upset. But wait, there's more. Put this out of the way. All right, what's special in this one? Half tiles diagonal.
Oh,
right?
Oh yeah.
Those.
I got some rounded plates.
Those are my new favorite 1x2s, easily.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I love them. That's why I had to get more, and some in black.
Yeah, need them in every color.
They're super useful.
Yeah, they need. I suspect that Lego's going to go to all of the 1x1s and 1x2s with holes in the center of the stud. That's my prediction in the next 5 years. Some more gray base plates.
Junior joining us. How's vacation going for Zoom Junior?
He's with his dad. How good could it be?
How could it be?
Well, yeah, but he's in a rental house and he's got internet and he's playing Fortnite still, so you know.
Yeah.
Valid point.
He's going to report back to his dad on how we're doing.
Dark tan.
He's in here too, though.
1x2 dark tan profile bricks. More 1x2 dark red.
We should take meditation.
1x2 light gray. One by 4 dark gray. 1x2 dark gray. 1x2 sandstone. And 1x4 tan. And I'm packing things. You may have noticed me wrapping things in the wrap earlier. That's what I'm doing down here while I'm talking to you all, is the wrap stuff. I'm wrapping.
Very good. All right. So I think I've got everybody except
Is it me?
Rebels Brewing.
Is it me? Is it time for me?
It's time for you.
Coolio. So, what am I doing? It's been an odd week. I'm gearing up because as Rich and Nick have shown that they have received their lug bulk. Which, can we really talk about lug bulk? I always people tear the first rule of lug bulk is you don't talk about it, but I think that's kind of lax.
We're getting back here.
I think it's laxed now. I don't think it's quite the overwhelming. Don't talk about it, or people will know, and you know.
Yeah, I think that's true too, because now there's more clearly defined rules. You actually have to be part of something to.
Yeah, it's not as quasi weird as it used to be. So now it's kind of a thing. So as a lug ambassador, it's part of my job to help coordinate the lug bulk, and so this week has been gearing up and planning and coordinating for us to do our COVID social distancing attempt at counting and sorting our parts this weekend on Saturday. So that was a good chunk of this week. I was glad to see on Nick's bags, he's got little packing slips on his bags, and that's what we're doing this year. This is our second year, so vast improvements. Hopefully we can knock it down to less than 9 hours is what took us to divvy it up all last year. So hopefully that'll happen. The fun part in my Lego world this week, besides doing lug work, has been that I received a box from Hungary that had several pieces in it to help finish up a couple of classic space sets. So that's what you will see back here. I have a command center and the big bad daddy from Space Police 1.
Wow.
However, in classic Trouble Brewing fashion, get ready to throw up the fail. I thought I had ordered all the pieces I needed to finish both these two sets. Not when I went to go build them. Yep, big fail. If Matthew were here and not on vacation, he would be commiserating with me because, yes, I need to now order 3 pieces. It's the big black concave, or the big corner concave pieces that come in black, only in this set. And there are none available on BrickLink in the U.S.
Oh,
So I'm going to have to resort to ordering from Europe, most likely Hungary again, and that will probably take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to show up.
Hey Dana, do they have the jail cell in the back of it?
It's got the big jail cell in the back of it.
Yeah.
You got to pop open the back section, which is kind of cool. I love the fact that all the Space Police sets, you got to do some sort of function to get to the pod that has the little jail cells.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you got your little pods that pop off, which are the claustrophobic. I always call these the claustrophobic jail cells because those.
The Iron Maiden.
Yeah, there's no wiggle room in those when you get locked into them, and you're always on your back, laying down. So I was always assuming that you got like carbon foil in these things to make it more bearable. So unfortunately, I wish I could say that these two sets were done. The big one's missing 4 pieces, and the command base over here or the space isolation lockup, I think is what it's called, is missing 2 printed parts, which I thought I had. So I will be creating a BrickLink order for Hungary probably again or someplace else to get those in. Which will then finally complete my classic, or my Space Police 1 series, since I've already got Space Police 2 knocked out. And then, as Chris and I or Mark and I are sporting space shirts this week. So that's been the first exciting part there. So let me go ahead and share my other screen, and we'll get to the Old Gray Brick set of the week. So switch us over.
Alrighty. There we are.
And I am in presentation mode, I think. No, maybe, yes. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, here we go. So, Old Gray Brick set of the week is the Alien.
That one's fun.
So sick.
I love it.
The not at.
Well, you know what? Hold that comment there, Greg. Hold that comment there. So, let's get the vitals out of the way. Classic Space 1986, a whopping 263 pieces. You got 2 minifigures. You got 1 blue spaceman, which I think came in almost every space set in 1986, and 1 red spaceman. Retail price for this bad boy in 1986 was a whole $24.99. That seems like a bargain, I think. Used price today will run you about $110 to $150 on BrickLink, depending on where you find it in the world. If they happen to have a used set available, the last one sold for $530 new in box. Ooh. That's a pretty good hike in cost, considering that it's such a wonky set to begin with. So why is it cool? Because it's a space elephant. Or as Greg pointed out, it looks like an AT-AT or Lego's quasi attempt to cash in on the Empire Strikes Back 40 years ago. The next thing would probably be the fact that it's another great parts pack. I think 1986 was like the boom of all the great, new space pieces that you could get. And this again was another great parts pack. You got 2 spacemen, always a bonus in any classic space set if you got more than 1 spaceman. And Greg's gonna like this. It's got lots of playability.
That was actually my favorite set growing up. So tons.
Yeah, tons of playability because, I mean, if you look at that thing, the front section comes off as a little shuttle. The back section comes off as well that you can hook then to the front section, doing some funky stuff. You got that robot arm, the fact that it can shuffle its leg sections to move, all the window panels open up, and the rockets fire out. So, I mean, just in its base configuration, it is a fantastic space set.
It really is. It really, really is.
So I will go ahead and switch over to my other screen. So, Mark, if you take me out of presentation mode, there we go. You can see big bad boy. So if you haven't gotten to play with one of these in person before, the little rockets, they come out, which is kind of cool. So it's like a submarine. It's like a walking submarine with little missiles
Oh, that's so cool.
that shoot out.
Amazing. It really is.
All the little windows open. You got which again, these black ones on the bottom here. Yeah, they're not common. They're not common at all. I mean, I think the green ones are more common than the black ones are. If you take these pieces, the whole section out, and you use them with the solar power transport, totally knocks that set up to 11. So it's a great little function to do. And then again, you got your front section is going to pop off. So you got your little shuttle. So then you can turn around and you've got your full on elephant mode there with your crane arm. And little funky thing about this, when you pop this section off, and I thought this was odd because as I was putting this back together to put it on the shelf, I noticed that this back section here, it pops off and it's designed that way. And there's actually a printed tile that's covered up.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just a very bizarre feature to add in there. I'm not really sure what
that top thing's supposed to be.
Well, so this piece here is crucial if you want to add those sections together.
Very cool.
Yeah,
to go off and be some weird snake thing tail. So
I did not have that one when I was a kid, so I didn't know about that.
Bless you.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's tons of playability in this set. Again, because it's such a weird set. As I was saying, it looks like a space elephant, or it's a knockoff of an AT-AT, but great playability. I can see as a 12 or 10 or 12-year-old who might still have this. Would have been great storytelling and playing and working out the different things you do with yourself. So that concludes our old gray brick set of the week, the Alien Moonstalker from 1986.
And do you know what else is really, really cool too? Is that it on the back of the box had some of the best alternate builds. That little two-legged walker that I took pictures of and we had on the show.
Yeah. Was that based off of one of the alt builds?
That's one of the based on one of the alt builds. Yeah.
Excellent.
And
I just recently found a new website, and I'll try and share it in here. It's a website specifically dedicated to the back of the box.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And it's great. So it makes me now want to buy get multiples of each set so I can start building.
Yeah. Well,
so I really need to find it.
Do you know what else that set had in one of the alt builds, and it's still a combination I use to this day, is you saw on that elephant scooter part on like the back, it's got those two yokes, those gray yokes at like the top, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So so those two gray things, if you can put a robot body, two robot bodies that come with that set, put them on either side, and they make a turret, an awesome laser turret.
Oh, I can see that. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's like
this little piece in general in all the classic space sets, whether it's in black or gray or blue, is an awesome piece. So much versatility that you can do with this.
And especially if you put it on top of a 1x2 jumper tile, you get rotation, and with the bodies you get elevation. So for Magnus being a military guy, you get full cover range fire. So
what are these things you're supposed to use as guns? Like there's some robots or something?
So
robot bodies.
The robot bodies. These so sometimes they're engines.
Yeah, those. Yes. Sure.
So if you I'll do exactly what he's talking about real quick if you bear with me. So if you take these and connect them to the snots on the side there.
Yeah.
And so you've got a really good dual gun turret. And then if you put this on like a jumper plate so it can swivel.
Yeah. And now today you can put a 1x4 bar through it to hold them both on, because it'll pass right through them all.
You're right. Yeah,
so
because the hole in the bottom.
Yeah, and through the robot bodies and the yoke.
Oh yeah, straight through there. You can put a 3L bar in there and keep them nice and snug. And you still got your all these external exposed studs to add greeblies to boost them up even more so. So,
Oh, those are great gun bases. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never had one of those myself, but it was one of the space sets I particularly coveted as a child when I was looking at the sort of pamphlet-y things.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Europe, and in England, that set was called the Thunderfoot Launcher, which is a great name.
That's a way better name.
That's awesome.
It's like a great band name.
Yeah, right. It's a Thunderfoot Launcher, and it a lot of the sets were just called something different in Europe. Like it's just interesting. I'd be just be curious as to why they changed the name within the English language just to market.
Even in the first year, the set numbers from the US to the UK for space sets were different.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like the Galaxy Explorer was called something else. I forget what it's called, but the LL928 on the side of it is actually the number for the European set, and the US set is a 4-digit or a 3-digit number starting with a 4. So, it was weird at that point in time when they did stuff like that.
And for the first 3 years in Canada, there was just the number. They didn't have names.
Well, because they felt that you guys would get confused if it was a number and a name, so they just had to give you one.
We're a very simple people. We can't really handle that level of complexity. It's the whole thing. It's the one step away from socialism, and this is what you get.
It's like bacon, syrup, we're good.
Number. Yes.
Too many toonies and it gets confusing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But Magnus, you're right though that the names were different from the U.S. and Europe and Asia and stuff, or wherever it was, and that's common across even a lot multiple themes, not just. Thanks, Dave. 497. That's for Galaxy Explorer. That was common across multiple themes, not just classic space. But I don't know, maybe just because we're a bunch of space nerds, we gravitate knowing that because of the space sets.
Oh yeah, no, there's lots of those.
If there's not Chris, there should be.
Mark, can you work on that Canadian space shirt for us? Make it so.
I'll get right on that.
I need the tattoo. I need it.
Awesome.
Make a spaceship with a gray maple leaf wing.
Yeah. So, wrapping that up, we have a topic for the evening that was suggested by Meredith on the Old Gray Bricks Discord. She suggested we talk about, do you have a mock or creations build list of things that you want to build, that you would like to get to someday, that you haven't got to, and how long is your list? What do you think about it? I thought that was interesting because for myself, only speaking for myself, I don't have a list because I'm much more like kind of spontaneous about building stuff. I'll get an idea or an inspiration and I'll build something. And then when I'm done, I'm like, oh, what do I do with my life now? So,
so you're flaky.
It's interesting. People are more organized than I am. So, so do you guys have a list? What do you want to build? Go.
Well, I think that Rich is going to explode if he doesn't.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah. Well, first of all, I want to mock Dana because I have the complete set.
There it is,
right here in front of me.
Oh, that's why you were swooshing that, because you have.
Oh no! Trust me, I knew exactly why Rich was swooshing that. I knew exactly why. Yes, it was felt, and yes, congratulations. Yes, I feel it.
Yeah, the thing is I got this in some sort of acquisition, and it was all just parts, and I had to put it together to make sure I had it all. And that was back almost a year ago. And I was like, oh, I need to put this together and see what. Oh yeah, there's this one in here, and the mega core magnetizer, and a particle ionizer, and yeah, that's great. Yeah, I was missing a couple parts, but not
the rare pieces.
Those. Not like those. The rare pieces, yeah, I had all the rare pieces, like the rack and the gear thing. So that was awesome. All that cool parts. Unlike the Megacore Magnetizer, which I did remake as my own mock thing, which I showed off a few weeks ago, this was on the list too, to change it to something more contemporary and close the cockpit and things like that. Just kind of modernize it in general, put real engines on it and things like that. So that's on my list.
If you're going to do that, you got to do the one main feature on that makes that set really, really cool, is that the canopy in the front rotates up and that the little vehicle comes out the front.
Did I disappoint with the Megacore Magnetizer? Even though it's all enclosed, that canopy still pops open exactly like it was supposed to and designed to do, except that the whole cockpit is enclosed.
It's got
something like that.
Make sure to include the play feature. That's the biggest waste of space ever.
Yes, of course. That's the whole purpose of that. Absolutely. But I have a list of other things. I've got a diner that's going to be richified in for my city. I've got a detective office that has to be broken up into its constituent parts of the barber shop, which will become something else, and the detective's office. So that'll be a new building all by itself. I've got Assembly Square waiting to be torn into 3 buildings and become something. I'm hoping that someday I'll be able to get Diagon Alley and make those into wonderful things too. Yes, and Rich, thank you.
Terrible.
But
yeah. So I got ships for September I want to build that I haven't gotten to, but because I've been an employed person.
So, Rich, when you modify and improve and enrich your mocks, do you use just pure Lego, or do you add like evil bricks?
It depends.
You shame us.
Some of the interiors might have a piece or two, but 90% of the whole building is Lego and not modified in any way, except maybe for a base plate. If I need a odd shaped base plate, I will cut the base plate. Bad me. Oh, I know.
I actually recently saw a Beyond the Brick video ad for how to take your Nintendo Switch and give it a Mario theme to it. And the very first thing they did was dropped a 32 by 32 plate down, took down a ruler, and cut that bad boy right in two. It's like,
yep. I know it makes people cringe, but there we are. Except for Mr. Nerf Herder. I'm sure he's
but what I thought was
well aware of things.
What I thought was interesting was that when they cut the base plate, so it wound up having a 90-degree angle on the edge, they took and ground off corner to round it, just like a regular base plate with a rounded corner.
I do the same thing. I will chip away at the edge at the corner.
I was fine with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. But yeah, no. If it's the building, I tried to make sure that I'm all within code so that I can bring it to Brick Fair and Todd doesn't go, get that thing out of my show. I can't have that.
And a quick shout out to Dave, because no, Dave would never cut a base plate or drill holes through it. Yeah.
You don't know what you're missing.
Todd doesn't always know the difference between Lego and not real Lego. Does anyone remember the banner for the military section that he came up with initially?
Yeah, it was bad.
At some point in Brick Fair, Virginia, Todd came up with these banners for the themes, and the banner was supposed to have like a mark from that theme, and so the space mark would say space and it would have a spaceship on it, and the military banner said military, and he found a picture of a Lego military model he just found on the internet that he put there, but it turns out it was like a Mega Block set. He just
Oh, that's classic.
So I have a pretty extensive list of things I want to do. I have in the past done sailing ships, and I want to maybe do a few more of those and do all the rigging because I like accuracy. I want to know that my ship could actually sail if it was actually not porous and could float on the water, and little people could actually move the rigging around. So, things like that. That's my list.
Cool.
Very cool. Yeah, we at Brickfest many years ago, I want to say it was probably 03 or 04, Bruce Lowell won an award for something, and he was called up front to accept his award, and he was wearing a Mega Bloks t-shirt. And I think it might have been the year that the people from Lego were there. I want to say it was maybe it was 05, because it was like the year that I think Keld and Jürgen Vig Knutstorp were there. Like the owner of Lego and the president of Lego came to our fest, and Bruce walks up front with this Mega Bloks t-shirt on to accept his award. And fortunately, everybody thought it was great and funny and everything. But it was a moment.
Lego builder.
Just glad it wasn't like a Lepin shirt, That would have been way worse.
I saw a t-shirt that was like the Lepin Star Wars logo, but the A was an N, so it said Star Winners.
I thought it was Star Plan.
I don't know, but it was funny enough that I almost bought it, but I had already bought this t-shirt and my FLEEBNORK shirt, and I didn't want to spend any more money at the time, but I kind of wish I'd bought it because it was really I liked it when I saw it.
The classic.
So Meredith, this was your idea. What are your ideas?
So I get challenged by her, my muse. Are you my muse? We've tried to talk about what muse means, and she says, "Mom, wouldn't that be cute, cool?" So she's almost. How much diagonality do you have left? You're on the third or fourth building. So she's like, "Third. Wouldn't it be cool if we finished off Nocturne Alley and put creepy wizard bar there, right?" Well, you have to have a creepy wizard bar, and then she challenges me, and then that adds to the list, right? Mm-hmm. And the problem is the list goes on. So what else did you have to make? Was her idea for the friends?
What about the Ninjago Alice? Yeah,
that was her. And then she had the problem is that I kind of ran out of how do I say this? Technic know-how. She tasked me with building a UCS edition of the Space Queen, whatever I want. You told me to build it. That was not your idea. That was your idea. The Queen, whatever I want to be, is UCS Space Palace, and it's up there. And I've run out of ideas for it because it requires a lot of Technic on.
You'll get there.
It's up there.
It almost looks like a lamp.
Yeah. Like a major award.
Yeah, it's abandoned. So she just keeps adding on ideas of things that we think would be cool. And then we wanted to build a space Costco because we love Costco.
For Moonbase.
And we figured the Moonbase needs a Costco because, if you're in space, you're probably not making a lot of trips to get supplies. So you're going to go to Costco. So we just come up with fun ideas between her, mostly her, but they build up and they just don't go anywhere. So they become a list.
And I know Meredith, and I think we've talked about this in Lug in general before, but yeah, I've got a laundry list of things, and I think I probably got 6 different builds that I'm, 80% complete, and then I'll either run out of parts, run out of time, look, something shiny, and I want to build something new. And so I'll put that project down to the side, and I'll eventually get to it. With Moonbase, which I blame both Chris and Mark for introducing me to Moonbase, and then if Palmer was here, he gets even more blame for it because his design really kind of pushed me down that road. That is like a never-ending project, because there's so many things that I could add to my own Moonbase that I just keep coming up with new things that I want to add to it. And so I think that's going to be one of those things that's down the road that I just won't have a big enough space to display it, is probably the reason why I'll stop. Otherwise, there'll always be something new being added to it.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the similar thing. I think I've talked with this with Magnus before, that that I've got like a section of like the USS Flag done, right? And then about like 4 planes done, couple helicopters, hovercraft, all this kind of thing. But I'm thinking, okay, let's say I get all this done. Now what? Right? It's if it was done in its entirety, it's incredibly hard to document at some point, right? Because you're trying to like you can't, it's like unless like I've seen guys like that one guy who made that huge World War II aircraft carrier. He traveled around with it. Yeah. He dedicated an entire site to it because it was so big that you needed to be able to share it, right? You need to be able to basically have like a whole venue just for that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I find is that if you take on these massive projects, unless you're bringing them to a con where they can truly be appreciated, it's kind of like you're painting the Sistine Chapel in like, your basement. Great for you, but now what, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that's where I find, like, for me anyway, the big projects, they get bogged down. And I know that Keith struggles with this all the time. Keith Goldman, because he makes these beautiful dioramas, right? They're huge. And if he gets them to a con, great. But I mean, when he gets them back home, like he always says, like before he unpacks, brushes his teeth, or as Chris would say, take the dog out, he's basically tearing the thing down, right?
Right.
So yeah, I find that like the little builds, if you have plans for little builds, they tend to be realized a little bit more. Not only just because you have more time, they're easier to bang out, but also the big ones, like you said, you get distracted, you do this, and the end game for them is a lot more murky, I think.
Well, it is because
this is why you have to become unemployed.
Hey, we may all be there. So.
Yeah, we might.
Yeah. Well, that's the other key to that is to have actual space for people to come and look at it, which is what I'm working on now. So,
space.
Do you think it's harder to do justice to a larger mock in using photography than a smaller one? Just because.
Oh, huge. It's much harder. Much harder because you can't get the sense of scale, right? That if you're trying to do something, if you just take a picture of the entire thing, it's dull. And because Lego is like a scale thing, any picture you do where you're talking about scale, it only becomes captivating when you bring the viewer into the scale of the subject. So if you have, say, an aircraft carrier, the only time it really gets interesting, if you put him right down at the dude on the flight deck who's about to give the Top Gun go, then you're like, that's cool. So, but then you got to think, okay, couldn't I have just done that by just building that? Did I need to build the other 5 feet, right?
The irony of this is that it's very difficult to get good pictures of large mocks of anything taken at a show.
Yes.
So it's always like in the background, there's people and other mocks and tables and a bunch of like junk food that someone left, and it's very hard to get good pictures there,
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, even like when you take your castle there, right? Like it's a fantastic project, and it's kind of at a great size because it's big enough to be impressive, but it's small enough that you can actually do it justice with some photography.
That's my hope.
Yeah. But anyway, it's back to the topic though. The question I have for everyone is that if they've got these projects, big or small, do you find that you get a certain amount of satisfaction just planning them? Let's say they never get built. Do you find that planning them, drawing them out, sort of pre-conceptualizing, is that part of the fun?
yes,
For me,
but
part of the fun if I finish the thing, like if I actually build the thing and complete it, then yes, part of the fun. But if I design and have an idea and I don't build it, then it's like something that is gnawing at my mind. Like I really,
Right.
Yeah. Just I gotta build it. If I do the sketching and the planning and the stuff, I gotta build it.
yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, it's fun to kind of conceptualize some things and find out you're totally wrong. Because it's not going to work that way. It's just not going to happen. The part is wrong. The spacing's wrong. The connections are not tough enough. You know, I sketched out a couple of different solutions for my canopy popping open with that Megacore magnetizer redesign, and I got to tell you that none of those worked. I had to take apart everything that I had done as far as a flip-up mechanism and rethink exactly what I needed to make sure it was stable and secure enough so that I could pop it open and close it and not have the front end just fall off.
Right. But it was fun to sketch. But do you find that reimagining frustrating or enjoyable? No.
It's enjoyable because I'm working. For me, it's the problem solving. It's the engineering. I got to make it work kind of thing. Right. Yeah, that's a great solution if gravity didn't exist. Awesome.
Gravity is a harsh mistress.
Yes, it is.
That's one of my beefs about digital builds is like,
oh yeah.
Sometimes you look at them and it's like, yeah, but gravity.
If you look closely, gravity is acting on that pretty hard. It's leaning.
Right.
So does that mean that if you were in space, like if you were an astronaut, have astronauts ever like taken Lego sets into space and try to build them? Like at least as a mock builder, like just imagine what you could build in space if you didn't have to deal with gravity.
True. Actually, you know what you could do is you could actually put together like a classic space looking buggy with 6 wheels that had sort of like questionable supports, and then somehow they would stay up and not fall apart when you put them on the ground. Like it'd be amazing.
It would be revolutionary.
Yeah.
It really would be.
It'd be like some sort of walking thing that stood up.
That's right. That's right.
That was for you, Chris, by the way.
But I've decided to be merciful and spare everyone the image for one evening.
Mark is a merciful God.
Just this one evening. Just.
I wanted to chime in on this topic for a second because there's been some things that some of my old coworkers and I had talked about, and it sort of straddles the line of like we nearly got to the point of executing the idea, but like because of logistical things and the band breaking up a little bit, it never happened. But that idea of what it could have been was that tantalizing thing that I think we all sort of have held on to. We joke about it every now and then. And this is, I think, the first time this idea has ever been shared outside of the little group of coworkers that had talked about this like 7 or 8 years ago. But back when post-apoc was a huge thing in the Lego fan community, we had started laying out, drawing, assigning, divvying up portions of a display that we wanted to do. And the idea of this display was Wizard of Ozpocalypse. And the point of it was that somehow the Wicked Witches had taken control after, like somehow they'd come back to life. They had like zombified the land of Oz. And Dorothy came back with everybody, and they were all in like mechs and tanks and spaceships. And they were basically fighting against the witches who had like taken sort of elemental powers over Oz. And like the Emerald City of Oz was like cyberpunkified. And we had literally like started making assignments, buying pieces through Lugbook and things like that. And then it just kind of petered out. But every now and then I think about that and go, man, I really wish we could have done that, because in our heads and in our drawings, it looked amazing. But like, it's not something we would have ever gotten to do for work. And I think that's what one of our outlets was what can we do for a con someday that we're never going to be allowed to do at work? And then oddly enough, a couple of years after that, the Legoland Discovery Center in Kansas City, Missouri, we got permission to do a Wizard of Oz cluster in their mini-land. So oddly enough, we got to do Wizard of Oz anyway, just not in the way that we had envisioned for so long.
That's cool.
Hey, we got to go to bed. Can you say good night, Nat? Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So I just have to say that Ryan, you owe it to the Lego community to still keep that dream alive because that's awesome.
Sorry. So when I mentioned that the band broke up a little bit, so two of the coworkers that were part of that planning actually work for the Lego company now, which I don't know if they're going to try to plant the seeds, but we, like I said, a couple of us stayed with Merlin with Legoland, a couple moved on to other jobs, but a couple are now embedded in the company, in their set design departments. And it'll never happen for reals, but just knowing that two of the people who helped birth the idea are in the company, it's reassuring that maybe someday something from their wacky minds will come out.
That hopefully they don't drink too much of the Kool-Aid and lose that feel, but allow it to still happen.
Can you say who? Would we know them from the boards?
No, not really. So one of them, how do I say this? So one of them helped birth the idea of the Hogwarts microscale giant set, but I don't think he helped design it. I think he helped birth the idea. I don't know any sets of his that have gone all the way. He does something weird where he's part of like the sketch model department. Okay. His name is Joel, and then another friend of mine, Andy, he's in the creator expert department. And his first set won't even be announced or come out till January. So I don't even know what he's been doing for the nearly 2 years he's worked there because he can't tell me.
That sounds like the new modular that comes out in January, maybe? Could be.
I don't know. I'm his friend, and he wouldn't even tell me because his phone and his internet is all provided by the company, and so
EA.
He didn't have another way to talk to me without possibly getting in trouble, unless he got like a burner phone in Denmark. I don't know.
So that must be a fascinating conversation between you two, since you can't talk anything and he can't talk anything. You guys must sit there and sort of like talk about it. So what's your
man?
Well, the really annoying thing is he's one of the people who helped birth the movement to ruin my life with Never Ending Story. So we don't really have a lot to talk about anymore because he's tainted my life and the people around me with teasing me with the Never Ending Story, which I hate with a burning passion. So.
And you just got a new copy of it in Blu-ray, if I'm not mistaken.
You know, if it's still the shrink wrap, you could take it to Walmart and get some money for it.
That's not a bad idea. Get some Lego.
Take it to the return counter.
Open it after this and enjoy it for what it is, for the masterpiece that it is.
Excuse me.
And not just that Never Ending Story 1. There's Never Ending Story 2. There's Never Ending Story 3. There's Never Ending Story.
I'm glad I only saw the first one.
So about the building list thing.
Yes.
When I came up with my first building list, but I've had an ongoing building list for a very long time, and I don't. I think because I've been building sort of Lego G.I. Joe for the longest time, that there's an automatic, catalog of things I could be building, and I just need to figure out which of these things do I want to prioritize building, which of them do I maybe not want to build, and then of the 150 I want to build, which are on my to-do list more immediately than others.
Right, just stacks and stacks of G.I. Joe and Cobra stuff.
Yeah, and it's sort of about like, well, I really want to build this thing, but I don't think I have the right bricks or technology or experience to do it yet. So like I might wait for a couple of years until I'm like, okay, I know I can pull this off. Or the big castle is a good example. I wanted to build that for a long time, but I knew that I would have to figure out those gradual sloping walls. And it was only this summer that I finally came up with an idea, which is actually quite simple, but I spent years trying to figure out how to do that satisfyingly.
Right.
And now I'm trying to figure out, well, what other toys do I want to build from the G.I. Joe universe? And then I have, I have other things I want to do as well. But when I was into sort of non-G.I. Joe military building, I would think about it very much in terms of, well, I'm building this faction and I have a tank and a jeep and an artillery cannon, but I don't have an armored personnel carrier, so I need to clearly build that. And I have a helicopter, but I don't have a fighter plane, so I need, the kind of roles that you fill.
Right.
I don't know. Like, have any of you built? I think some of you have built like factions for like your own sort of neoclassic space factions.
Yeah.
Do you do that mostly just around a couple of big capital ships, or do you have like, well, I got my transport, so I need my escort plane thing? How does that work?
I can't really answer for Chris directly. Maybe he can say in the chat, but for myself, I just built whatever came along that I had an idea for, because I think I'm trying to remember the first thing that I built for all of that, because that's one of those things that came out of I think Chris started building. Well, I mean, he and I kind of like feed off of each other with ideas and jokes and in jokes that turn into ideas that turn into in jokes, and it's like a maelstrom. So because he based his first pre-classic space themed ship off of a completely unrelated spaceship that I built that was white with light gray, and it used the Paradisa windows on it, and I had inverted them under the front of the ship to make the shape. Mm-hmm. He really liked that spaceship, and that spaceship that I built was nothing to do with any classic space or any of our themes or anything at all. It was like a spaceship that I made that was probably closer to Star Wars than anything. That I made up a little backstory about this alien gambler guy, and I had one of the Wild West torsos with like the gambler torso that had the cards sticking out of it or something like that, and I've stuck the alien head on it and whatever. And Chris liked that spaceship so much that it spun him off into his pre-classic space theme. And at some point, I was doing something with when we were on Lugnet, and we kind of bounced ideas around and just kind of played and made jokes and stuff. I had an evil clone of myself, like Sigfig, an evil clone of my Sigfig that spun off the whole evil idea, and I started building skull things. And I want to say the first thing I built was the what I called the Death Skull, which was the original skull with the tentacles sticking out of the bottom of it. And that was before the Space Skull set. Yeah. But that was... but I built that, and then I think Ryan was having fun, and he built a couple of things that he brought to BrickCon. And I built a Moonbase module that was a big skull and put that on the Moonbase. And Ryan, did you bring something to that BrickCon, or was that other people? Because some other people also brought some evil things with it.
So Brickfest PDX was my first one. That was right after I'd gotten into the fan community, and I was like, I'm going to build something evil so I can be cool like Mark Sandlin. And I just kind of like, I'm going to put it over here near this big skull, and maybe I'll be cool like the big kids. But that was, PDX 2004 for me.
Yeah. But I was trying to remember, did you actually build a module, or did you build a little ship, or I don't recall exactly.
So for that one, for me, it was a Moonbase module. I didn't get until probably ships a little bit later. At BrickCon 05, we had more factions show up. Yeah. And it was like a whole, like 3 or 4 different armies had all shown up and were fighting each other all around and through and in the Moonbase. And it was like pre-classic space, Eastern Bloc, Evil, Jade Empire, like everybody showed up at that con.
Yeah, because we started spinning off into like, sort of Cold War-esque ideas, because somebody started doing Eastern Bloc, and that was all like
J-Dub started doing that.
Okay, yeah, and then Jade Empire was a quasi China-ish sort of thing, and then Keith Goldman had his own theme that was Iron something.
Right.
Wasn't that Dan Rubin, or did Dan Rubin build in Keith Goldman's team?
Dan Rubin had the Inquisitor stuff.
Oh yeah, that's different from But everyone had their own signature theme?
People were just feeding off each other's ideas and coming up with new little factions, and it was really fun because somebody would see somebody else's faction, and then they'd build a ship and say, "Look, I made one in your faction," and it was just a lot of fun. And so
But do you also remember too that as that gained in popularity, and we all started bouncing around, started showing up at cons, started showing up on Flickr. I think at that point we'd actually graduated to classpace.com, so it was coming up there. And then at that point, it actually kind of went a little too far. And then you sort of had some younger contributors that were coming on, and basically all they were interested in was backstory and not building. So everything was like just, reamed pages and pages of this.
Rules.
Yeah.
It was rules.
And rules. Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't have this because this has this design and this has this. And then you had people who were concerned about ranks. Remember the ranks thing? Oh,
Yeah.
that was hilarious because they would be asking Mark and Chris to promote them. And oh man, it was it went totally off the rails.
Yeah, because the thing with me and Chris was always on a joke level. It was always it was pure because at one point there was a whole joke about my sort of character Sigfig getting demoted and being put on FLEEBNORK duty, and I had a photo of myself wearing a white spacesuit. I found my dingiest looking white plastic space suit and put my Sigfig head in there and had my guy with a flamethrower getting FLEEBNORKs off of a ship, and this was all purely humor between me and Chris and some of the other guys. And some of the kids who were coming up were really taking it seriously, it was like Star Trek canon or something. And we were like
D&D, rules.
Oh, it's just for fun. And you're like, but this is that, and no, it's fun. It's fun.
There's no rules in Lego.
And since there was a new Lego sub theme or something.
Yeah.
So
in answer to your question, yes, there were definitely factions and things built to fit within the faction to fill particular roles.
But I don't know how much of it was planned because it was really a whirlwind of creativity and people feeding off of each other's vibes and kind of bouncing things back and forth and just sort of it was that kind of early days of the internet thing. It was just Wild West of ideas and creativity and just sort of, jokes mixed in and kind of that sort of thing. So, I didn't have a plan. I would just build something and here's a spaceship with a skull on it. And that was my whole thing. And then, sometimes I might build something that was an attack on one of Chris's spaceships. He'd build a spaceship and I'd make an evil one to blow his up or something. But it's hard.
And I actually do remember talking with Chris about this at one point when kind of maybe a couple iterations along of some of his ships and that. And I remember him saying I'm building this because when I was 12, everyone wanted the fleet, right? Everyone, you saw Star Wars, you saw all these different ships, sure, a lot of them are the same, whatever, but you saw these different ships in this armada kind of thing. You're like, yeah, baby, that's what it's about. And I remember him saying but he had 3 or 4 ships at the same time. And I know for that particular run, he had built some which were meant to be complementary, probably not kind of like a carrier group, but not sort of along the same lines of, this is the carrier, this is the tender, this is the picket. It's none of that stuff, right? It's just kind of no, here are 4, 5 cool ships. This one's got the missiles. This one's got the giant gun. This one's got this kind of thing. But yeah.
And I think even Chris has mentioned that the Battlestar Galactica fleet with the ragtag.
Yeah.
So that could probably have fallen in.
Yeah. And that had a huge impact on us too. Back, Rye's whole back is covered in tattoos, so yeah, it had a huge effect. Apparently, there are other places too, but keeping this, even though Meredith is gone, we're going to keep this pretty.
They're on my FLEEBNOKers.
But watch your pants.
So what I find interesting, and that while it's not, I didn't get to enjoy the glory days of PlasticSpace.com, but I find that dealing with different people, that this group included in the statement, is what creates an energy. And an oddball comment. I think I was at Brick Fair 2-3 years ago, and Chris and I were joking about the fact that there's no space in the town displays. And so I said, well, I need to make, I was like, I should make a shop that's like spacesuits or something like that. And he's like, Moonbase Outfitters. And it became a joke. And it's down there. I had to build it. I had to build this little space shop that's for spacesuits to put into our town displays. And from what Mark is talking about, it's like it's those jokes of hanging out with like-minded individuals, or even if they're not like-minded, but just hearing an idea and going, oh, that would be cool.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Build that. So, but one thing I was thinking about, and you guys run through this, and how you get your ideas, and it didn't dawn on me till yesterday, because I had to go and get a counting scale, and so it was a little further away than I planned on. And I'm sitting there and driving along, and some the Village People comes on the radio, whatever channel I was listening to, and I'm like, oh, I think there's a collectible minifigure for every band member in the Village People. That would be kind of a cool mock to build. And it's when I'm driving is probably when I get the most ideas to build things. And it's just random things that pop into my head while I'm driving, and the next thing I know, boom, I need to build that.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple displays with all 5 of them at Brick Fair over the course of 3 or 4 years.
Oh, I know. It's got to. Yeah, I'm sure.
Especially with the new cop helmet,
which is a
nice touch.
So I think when you're talking about inspiration enough too, and I mean I've talked about this with Jamie Neufeld, that and I think it's kind of strange, but in my late 20s, early 30s, I guess. I mean, I used to always carry like something to draw with me. I used to work downtown, so a lot of time commuting, all that kind of stuff, trains, planes, automobiles, whatever. But I used to be like inspired by like very odd things. Like, you would see like a piece of construction equipment, and the cab would be an off-center cab in a particular way, and the arm would be able to, and you'd be like, oh man, yeah, that would translate well into like a rover cab or something like that. Or it could even be something even more off thing. Like you'd see like a power tool, where it just had an interesting shape that would be like, yeah, that's kind of like a Slave One sort of thing, right? Like you turn it upside down, it's got a flat plane and this and that. So, and I find, for me personally, I think that's actually what I miss about having more time to build and more time to think about these things. Like all this was before kids, and all this was before houses and mortgages and all this stuff. And I find that, that sort of that random inspiration, it still happens, but it's rarer. And I think the thing is too, is that, like we were just talking about, back in those days when you bounce stuff off of one another, if you had a cool idea that was an interesting sort of thing, sometimes you'd even just share the drawing, right? Like I remember being on there and you say, like, I had this idea, right? And you share it, and then some other people are like, that looks cool, like, okay, what if you did this? What if you did this? What if you did this? So that whole sort of like community aspect of doing it. Yeah, exactly. This is exactly it. So these everyday things that inspire you. Now I'm going to totally disregard what else that reminds me of, but just for the chat.
When you're listening to this, Mark, I'm glad you brought this up, because this is exactly what I was thinking of when Greg was talking about this.
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
He's done great. We have tongs. He turned into a spaceship. That's really cool.
Oh, nice.
I love this one. This is one of my favorites.
The can opener.
The can opener, and he's added all this detail and stuff to it. It's just great.
Like, to me, when I look at this kind of stuff, this says to me, your mind still has some capacity. You know, like it's able to still sort of think outside what is right in front of you and think beyond the tax bill is kind of what I call it, right?
Yep.
And like I really hope that you don't lose it entirely. I hope that if you're at a busy time in your life, it just kind of gets muddled, and I hope it comes back as strong as it did beforehand, right? But it's cool, Dana, to hear like when you're at the different cons and stuff, like, you know, that sort of thing is still happening, because that's the joy of the hobby, right? It really, really, really is.
Well, because Chris had mentioned it in the chat in here, and it's totally like you got an idea and somebody said something, and you want to get your peers to go, ooh, I wish I had thought of that.
Mm.
And that's also, you know, it's a little bragging rights, and completely acceptable. You know, you're not hosing down the deck with testosterone. You're not trying to show off too much, but you're trying to get, you know, trying to get kudos from your peers. I think that's definitely a driving force for some of the creativity.
Absolutely. And would that be cooties or kudos?
Or
because he's in the chat.
Or is it kudas? I don't know. It's plural because it's got an S on the end, but is it silent because it's French?
On Monday, he asked us how we thought we pronounced his name. Was it Monday or last Thursday?
Cooties? I don't know.
Kudis?
Because he's going to have to be invited so he can say his own name.
Because it could just be Cootie. Because I grew up in Illinois, which is not Illinois, so it's singular. So it could be just Cootie.
What if the K is silent?
A silent K. See, in my household, the K is not silent. We pronounce the K, but that would make him Udi. Isn't that a character from Doctor Who? He holds a ball.
David's going to leave, and we're never going to see him again.
Maybe the K is more like an H.
Cowdice.
Cowdice.
Yeah, howdy.
Interesting.
Cowdice. I would have never gotten
Cowdice. Nice.
Good times tonight, guys. Good times tonight.
Yeah, I know that I've seen stuff at cons and gone, oh, I want one of those, and I have to like reverse engineer it.
It doesn't even have to be a con for that. I can see something on Flickr or Instagram, and I'm like, oh, I got to build that. Mark, you just did that the other day with the guy who does the reddish and gray.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm now following him, and I decided I need to do the same kind of thing, and I need to do everything in orange and dark gray. So
yeah, that's on my list too. That's the third thing.
Yeah, see somebody do something
because I can't get to any. I mean, I can obviously touch lots of parts still, but it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
You know, Rich, again, it's really way too much information. Way.
Parts. I can touch Lego parts.
See,
is that better?
Now you need to define Lego. Yes, please. We all can touch
Cowdice parts. I've got Cowdice parts.
That's not helping.
No, it's probably not.
Oh, nice.
So one space-related thing I've been thinking about on and off for years, and more recently since I've been seeing these old gray sets of the week, is building a sort of faction in not exactly the style of classic space, but using all the new parts we have now, but perhaps with a piece count that Lego could do.
I have actually been thinking about this very thing for a couple of years. That because if you look back,
if Lego were to bring back the space theme today, like what would you like to see them do?
And while Galaxy Squad was kind of a touch on that, they tried to put the aliens and the heroes all in the same thing, and it kind of muddied it. Where I think that, you know, the classic sets where you had a set that was 50 pieces, and then you had a set that was 143 pieces, and then you had a set that was in like the 200-300 sets, and then you worked it up, so you had like the smaller, medium, mid-size, large, and then extra large, and making that theme with current parts, keeping it all connected. I'd love for somebody to do that, and if I ever get the time, that's something I'm thinking that the Orange Spaceman might be a great idea to do that with, for that exact same.
Yeah, what
You
when
know,
they
you
did the
wanna-
Galaxy stuff, they should have done a separate sub theme. So
For
you
the
had
aliens.
just the Galaxy human
Yep.
figs, and then an alien theme.
Yeah.
At the same time, released at the same time, and you could kind of mix and match at that point.
And Chris is right. They're doing the 3-in-1 rover because these little guys are so awesome with the printing on them. They're just fantastic. I think it would be a great theme to go off of as well, and just continue to scale those ships either up and down, still keeping in that same color scheme, same part usage. Yeah, it'd be awesome if Lego did that themselves. But
And of
Well,
course,
you know that any one of us who said our mind, maybe this sounds really arrogant, but like any one of us who said our minds to it could do a very good job, if not better than the Lego company, because the Lego company now can release some excellent sets, but the really excellent Lego sets tend to be large, expensive sets. Like, you know,
Yeah.
what does a space rover in under 100 piece category look like based on the colors and parts now, with like maybe 2 things.
yeah, because along with me doing the Old Gray Brick side of the week here, I also do it on Instagram for Troubles Brewing, but then on Facebook group 80s and 90s Lego 80s and 90s Lego Classic Space and Lego Space Classic. I also post. I started out with the first sets and I've been going through, and anytime we hit a new year, the set numbers always start with the smaller sets and they work up towards the bigger sets. And the reoccurring common statement was, I miss those little sets.
yeah,
You know, you got one mini. I mean, today we're a poly bag, but then it was a little box. But you got one figure and maybe 30 to 60 pieces.
Yep.
And you loved that set because it was you were stuck in this little place and you had this cool little set that didn't require it being a large piece count. And now I think we get lost in those large piece counts.
But what also have worked too is that they work so well together. Like that one that you posted that I commented on was the trailer with it carries the air tanks, right, with those yoke pieces, right? So you have this set which in itself looks cool, right? It's got 2 or 3 figs, I can't remember which, and that thing it literally. You're not rescuing anyone. You're not fighting anyone. You're not doing all you're doing. You're not carrying boxes somewhere. You're just basically an air tank thing, which is kind of fun, just all on its own. But then you put that beside the transport or the Galaxy Explorer. Now it looks like you got a setup with some purpose, right? So they really did work well together, and I think that's the one thing that I missed today. Town or city or whatever does it kind of well, but all the other themes, if you gather them all together and you put them in the same table and you look at them, you're like, okay, I guess they're all kind of the same thing, but they don't necessarily look like they interact with one another well. Like
I think
I would beg to differ slightly, at least on one kind of newer theme, and that's the new space launch theme with the new shuttle.
Again, it's still town.
Technically, that's a town, yes.
But that I put on under the city umbrella.
Because all the underwater sets and all the Arctic sets,
they all work.
Mining sets, anything that's town related, they they still keep that same cookie cutter feel that the old classic sets had. Yeah. But we don't get that with Star Wars or any of the other things like that.
That is true.
Like Monkey Kid and Jago, like all that kind of stuff. They're just kind of they're in the same aesthetic, but they don't do anything together.
They're parts packs. That's all.
Yeah. But actually, when you're talking about that sort of like creating things at a lesser amount of pieces, but trying to sort of maximize what you can do with them. I have no idea if you still be able to find it or not, but for 4 or 5 years in a row, a guy, an Australian builder, Alistair McLean, was that his last name? I can't remember, but he goes by Captain Underpants as well, was his screen.
Cubehead, the Cubehead guy.
No. That's the guy who's with
Somebody else?
Pixar, right?
That's Angus.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
this was Alistair. I don't even know if you remember. I know that some of the people in the Canadian lugs, they knew him well. Like Jeannie knew him well and stuff. But anyway, this guy, every year he would put out a contest where he would limit the amount of parts, right? So it'd be 300 parts and under, 200 parts and under, 500 parts, all this kind of thing. And then he'd have actually prizes in the whole thing. But it generated some great builds because you get people using the maximum amount out of these smaller piece counts, which were very similar to back in the old days. And I mean, if, like you said, if that kind of challenge was put out again in a meaningful way, it could really generate some really great stuff.
We actually did. So we always have a meeting mock challenge for the lug, and last year, I think it was last year, we did a 60, or I think it was 60 and under, because it was the 60th anniversary. So we said you got to build something with under 60 pieces, right. And you're absolutely right. Some of the sets that people built were fantastic, and it's just a small number of pieces. And sometimes I try to challenge people by size to try and keep it within a certain footprint, because that gives them a certain thing. Yeah, don't go there. And then same thing with the alt box. I'll do an alt box challenge where I'll say, hey, you can only build a mock, but you can only use the pieces that come in this set.
Right.
Because that's what we had to do as kids. And it challenges our creativity. And I mean, Mark, we just did a hidden side one. It was the El Fuego stunt.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Those turned out great.
Yeah, Mark's hot rod. I mean, look at that thing. Look at that engine.
That's
and
awesome.
Again, this is something that as we as kids, that's what we got to play with. We had the parts in that one set, so we had to think inside the box, not think outside the box. And
Good phrase. Good phrase. Yeah.
It generates so much creativity when you are constrained for that type of thing. So.
Yeah, I try to I do try to build small when I can. Things for like my restaurant, like for my Dunkin' Donuts, I tried to make a donut cooker, a fry vat with a conveyor belt, and it's maybe 15 parts, and it's got the drop bowl for the donut, it's got the conveyor coming out of the vat, and I've got trans yellow tiles to emulate the fry oil. A little coffee maker, double bowl, double glass pitcher coffee maker sitting on the counter. I've got in a different restaurant ice and beverage dispenser. Trying to think really small and build as delicately and intricately as possible, and you end up only using just a few bricks.
Yeah.
Just to make that image.
Yeah, I think Chris. I think I'm not sure if it's Chris or Christopher, and if I'm saying McVeigh wrong, but he having gone to work for Lego and now did the new elf hut, I think is what the new Christmas display set is. He was classic, and is classic for doing those little micro things. He's got a little computer in there that's very reminiscent of his small micro builds. So yeah, there's a lot to be said for little detail with smaller number of pieces.
And actually, that's kind of an interesting thing, is that this sort of maximum effect for limited pieces, who actually also kind of does that well, and they do things that work well together just from looking at the boxes and stuff, is actually Friends. Friends is like, they really do. Like, if you look at the smaller sets, and like the price points within that line is wide. Like, it's wide and it's reasonable. Like, I mean, I wish I'd liked it more.
It's okay, Greg. You're among friends here.
Don't want that.
It's a parts pack. Just remember, it's a parts pack.
But I mean, but the thing is, I can't wrap my head around those colors, man. It's just like, I can't do it. But yeah, it's like, those things, like they have, like you look at that, they've got a recent lineup that's, it's basically their version of Divers or something, right?
Yeah, the National Geographic stuff
for this year. Yeah, man, like you look at you put it beside the city version. They're expensive, poorly built. There are too many parts for mediocre models, unless you look at the huge ones. You put it beside the Friends thing, you're like, okay, can this guy go over here and give them a shake and maybe an enema or something? Because you have
there you go, Chris. There you go.
It's like,
Chris on the poop talk. There we are.
There it is.
You're welcome. But
that means an enema.
Yeah, but it's like that's the word that amazes me.
Oh, now that we've gotten that out of our system,
we've got.
Did we really?
Thanks. Right, we've got about 10 minutes left. But on the topic of small builds, Small Paul has been asking me for a while about showing a little small build that he's been working on. So I just wanted to have you guys look at his little bot.
It's a robo spider.
A robo spider.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
The red part is the eye, and the two white things are the teeth. These are two lasers.
You gotta have lasers.
Yeah.
Very
Also
cool.
has
Mean, nasty, gnashing teeth.
Oh, does it have a? What is that?
a butt laser.
Like a shooter butt?
Butt lasers. Why didn't I think of that? I need butt lasers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to build my own butt lasers now. Oh my gosh.
He can pick up two of his legs and then use them for weapons.
with his butt.
No, with the legs. These.
With his pincers.
Yeah.
Mark, do we tell him that the spider actually has 8 legs?
Yeah, I know that. Except you can't even have 8 legs on this thing.
Oh, that's true.
That's how they made this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Only
Well,
4.
didn't you make that guy?
Kind of.
He built it off of the idea of somebody else. That's great. You made it better. That's what's important. You're on your way.
Nice, Dana. Nice. Dana. You want to talk about Santa next? Huh?
No, I would never do that.
I think he started with the legs. That those came from something in a set, and he added all the stuff to the top of it to make it, his own vision. So
it looks really good. Thanks.
I'm fulfilling my role as the guy.
Did you remind the teachers about the quiz? That guy?
I would never be that guy. I would be the guy saying, "Oh no, we were told the quiz isn't until next week."
Yeah.
Are you sure it's this week? Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna bail because I need ice cream before 9, and I want to sit down and watch Star Trek Discovery because I haven't paid to watch it.
All right. Well, how about we're coming up on 2 hours, so I think I will go ahead and wrap up the program here. But I appreciate all of you guys being on the show. Troubles Brewing, Magnus, Nerf Hoarder, Mountie Love, and Lego Man 34, and everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
And making comment. And everybody have a great week. And Fazoom will be back on Monday for Messy Monday as usual.
And he will probably omit several of us from the show.
Possibly. Yeah. But thanks a lot, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.